Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In this video again we are going to continue the topic of IAM, and here we will be understanding about certain IAM authentication methods, as well as we will going to understand what is MFA, that is multi-factor authentication. So let us start. Now, talking about IAM authentication method, we have seen few of them already, and you will be going to understand that in a very simple manner. So first of all, we have seen that we have a user, and a user have its username, password, and MFA, which is optional, right? So you can also add an additional layer of security in form of multi-factor authentication, which we are going to generate and create in this particular video only. So with this, a user will get the, through IAM, the user is going to get all these three things, and he or she can enter into the management console. Then again, we have two other methods of authentication, which is our CLI and API. Both of them are the programmatic access, and in order to perform the programmatic access, IAM provides the access key and the secret access key to the user. We have already generated the access and secret access key in our previous videos, right? And through this we are going to actually enter, or you can say use, AWS services with the help of AWS APIs, which is programmatic, obviously, not to the management console. So now this particular concept is pretty much clear, that in order to get to the management console, we have username and password as our authentication method, and MFA is optional. And for the AWS API, there is the programmatic access. But apart from these two methods, there are few other methods also which are also there in IAM authentication methods. Right. So now the first one over here is our signing certificates. Right. Through signing certificates also we can access certain services. For example, EC2 instances. So this is an X.509 certificate authentication, and which is meant for some services like EC2 instances. The second one is SSH keys and HTTPS GET credentials, and these can also be used to access services like AWS Code Commit. And at the last, there is uh, key spaces, which is also a authentication method for accessing AWS key spaces. Now, all of these are configurable in our user account, and we shall be visualizing them shortly in this video. So that is all with the authentication method, but here we shall be focusing more on multi-factor authentication. Right, so the next topic is multi-factor authentication. Now, talking about multi-factor authentication is AWS. It is a simple best practice that adds an extra layer of protection on the top of your username and password. Right. So this is an additional sort of security layer. Right. With MFA enabled, when a user sign into an AWS management console, they will be prompted for their username and password, obviously. And the username and password is a first factor which a user should know, right? A user knows its username and password, right? As well as for authentication code, right? This is MFA, another security code, just like the OTP that we get now in our mobiles, right? Right. So this is additional authentication code, which is the second factor, that is what the user should have, right? If you have your mobile phone, you can get the OTP. This is similarly like that only, right? Taken together, these multiple factor provide increased security for your AWS account settings and resources, right? So obviously it is for an additional layer of security. Now, talking about how we can apply MFA to our user account or to our root account also. So there are three methods with which we can apply MFA. The first one is you can have a virtual MFA device, which is nothing but a mobile app, which is Google Authenticator, and we shall be using Google Authenticator in this lab only. Now the other two are the hardware MFA devices. So in order to provide U2F security and other hardware devices, you should have purchased that hardware device. So you have to invest in that hardware device. So here we shall not be using the YubiKey or the token hardware. We shall be sticking to virtual MFA device to apply multi-factor authentication to our users, right? So let us move towards the lab portion so that we can actually understand what MFA actually does. right? So practical is much more better. Right. So here I am on my IAM dashboard, and here also you can see the option add MFA to the root user. Right. So if you want to add it for the root user, you can click MFA over here, right, and perform the step. Or else if you want to actually apply MFA on the users, so you have to go to users and let me click on any of the user, that is, let's say Smith, and then a little detail of the users is given on the screen. Switching to security credential tab, right, and here we shall be getting this particular summary, right, and it says console password, it is enabled and user should know it. Another option is assign MFA devices, right, so you can click on manage and do this. But before that, you can see that we have access key also and secret access key over here. We have seen SSH key for AWS code commit in this video only, and we have seen HTTP GET credentials for code commit, and then also we have seen that we have key spaces for key space access, right? So all these authentication methods are here in the user profile, and we can uh, properly configure them, right? So here, coming back to our MFA device, so it is not yet assigned. So now I will be clicking on manage. Right, and here you can see all those three options that we have studied in our slide, that is virtual MFA, security key, and few examples are also given over here. And this is another MFA device. So hardware we are not going to consider in this video. We shall be sticking to virtual MFA device only. So click on continue, right, and here you can see that a pop-up window actually appears on your screen, and it says that the first step says install a compatible app on your mobile device or computer, right. So for performing this particular lab, I have actually installed Google Authenticator from Play Store in my mobile device, right. So what I'm going to do over here is open Google Authenticator app in my mobile, right. So on this you can click on get started, and after that you will be redirected to a page where it is going to ask you for setting up of your account. The two options are there: scan a QR code, and the other one is enter a setup key. So you can see that it is asking me to scan a QR code over here, and on my screen also I have a QR code, show QR code over here. So what I will be doing, I will be clicking on this show QR code like this, and the QR code is visible, and at the same time I shall be clicking on my phone on scan QR code and allow. So you can see that here I have scanned the code, and I will be writing add account over here, right. So here it is asking me to type the code, right. So I will be typing this code over here. This is my first code. Another code will also come within a few minutes, and the next code is 75337 and click on assign MFA. And you can see that over here I have successfully assigned MFA to my user account, and now I'm closing it, right. So now MFA has been assigned to my user account, right. So the next thing is, what we are going to do is we will be checking whether this MFA is working fine or not, right. So for this I shall be again going to the incognito tab, and again I shall be clicking on management console. Again here I will be signing in as the IAM user. So for that I will be requiring my account alias. Let's say I know the account alias. So alias is user A169. The name of my user is Smith. The password is right, and sign in. And here you can see that it is asking me for the MFA code. Now this is the multi-factor authentication. So I will be entering the code which is there in my phone and submit. And that is how we actually add multi-factor authentication to our user, right? Similar way we can add multi-factor authentication to our your root account also, right? So I hope that working with MFA and all the authentication methods which IAM provides much must be pretty clear to you all, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. And for more such lectures, stay tuned to my channel. Thank you.